All right. So I'm so glad. I'm so glad that the algorithm, that the internet, that the Wi-Fi, that the World Wide Web is going to allow me to broadcast in front of y'all tonight. And I'm glad to be here. Listen, this is the way it's going to be. The only reason we didn't have a show last night was because my Wi-Fi was acting crazy. It was like going in and out, in and out, in and out, and I didn't want to start the show and then have the show not really be able to continue, and y'all know how it go. But we back, and it's the same topic tonight as it would have been last night. So let's get into it. Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this your daily go getimism show. We do this every single day, every day. Every day it rains, every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. We break it down, baby. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Listen, who's the Daily Go Getimism Show? I'm your host, Sun 752. Tonight on the Daily Go Getimism Show on this glorious Wednesday, hump day, the 10th of January, even though I know it's the 11th right now, but it's just slightly after midnight on the East Coast. So it's still January 10th as far as Central time zone, Mountain time zone, and West Coast. So let's do it. Tonight we're talking about waiting your whole life to crash out. Waiting your whole life to crash out. What I mean by waiting your whole life to crash out is you may have spent a considerable amount of time in your life, maybe even a whole segment of your life, thinking that you were on the verge of a nervous breakdown, on the verge of getting ready to snap on somebody. You may have even had somebody targeted out. Like, listen, if this person keeps, if one more time if they don't stop, I'm gonna, Hey, it be like that sometimes. Some people really rub you the wrong way. And hey, you may have been feeling for a long time like I'm getting ready to crash out on this person. So it can be directed towards a person, or it could just be something personal. You may have felt for a long time like, yeah, my emotional stability, maybe even my mental stability is not where it needs to be. And I feel like I'm slipping into darkness. Slipping into darkness. Have you ever felt like you were slipping into darkness? And what I mean by slipping into darkness is, have you ever felt like you were not as mentally sound, emotionally structured as you know that you wanted to be or needed to be? And anybody can go through this. At times, when you are going through great stress, you could be dealing with a whole lot of things that you would rather not have to deal with in your life. And you may feel like, don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. Sometimes you may feel that way, and it may be the case where you were feeling like that for a long time. The good part about waiting your whole life to crash out, or really thinking that you're not going to be able to hold on, is that when you are conscious that you are slipping, that you're not doing well, you're actually doing a whole lot better than anybody who's really going through that stage or through that phase or through that situation, because those people don't know that they're not okay. They don't know that they're slipping away. They think that is everybody else. They think that they are normal and they are just misunderstood. Yeah, it's true. They may be misunderstood, but they have a deeper problem that is not even recognized by them. When you know that you need help, when you know that you need relief, when you know that you need to do something in order to right the ship, you're actually in a very good place. So anybody who is listening to this show, who may be going through some really, really tough times, and any of these things can bring this on. When you're dealing with the with the poor health of a loved one, and I mean a loved one. You know how it is, man. You know, at a certain time in your life, whether you are whether you are just becoming a young adult, or whether you are becoming a parent, or whether you are going into middle agehood and things like that, there's going to come a time in your life when somebody that you really want to try to keep in this world is slipping away from you. You're going to lose somebody. You're going to lose somebody. And there can be times when you may have actually been losing yourself. If you've ever been hospitalized for a long time, or if you've ever lost control of your good health for a long time and you weren't seeing any signs of getting any better, that's stressful and it's hard, and it's not something that you would ever want to happen to yourself or anybody else that you care about. But it happens, and in every life it happens. So when you're dealing with a situation where you're trying to keep somebody else's health intact, whether you're talking about their physical health or their mental health, or their physical health so their mental health can be okay, those may be times when you are going through so much stress, you are going through so much worry, you are going through so much mental and emotional anguish and pain, that you may feel like, man, I don't know if I can do it. I'm trying to stay strong for those who are weaker than me. And they don't know that I'm on a tightrope, and this tightrope ain't even all that tight. You know, you can't have the tightrope bowing. You can't have the tightrope bowing, but you may feel like you're walking on a tightrope that's not all of that tight and is bowing, and you feel like, oh, this is just not good. But you're still trying to stay strong for those who may be on shakier ground than you are. So you're kind of waiting for that bow to break. You know, down will come baby, cradle and all. I said, down will come baby, cradle and down will come. Yo, man, you know, I'm trying to make light of it, but this is a more serious situation that I may be giving credit to. And I want to give a shout out to anybody who has been going through this or feeling this way, because it's real shit. It's real shit. When you have been feeling like you've been going too hard for too long, and without any with all the risks and hardly any of the rewards coming your way, and you just can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you've been feeling like, yo, man, I'm getting ready to crash out. I listen, when was the last time you pre-apologized to somebody? I mean, you may have done it. You may have done it at work. You may have done it in your family at home. You may have done it on social media, where you had to excuse yourself for your behavior that you're about to display or that you've been displaying. It could have been something as small as not getting enough sleep over a period of time. You're not getting enough oxygen to the brain. Your cells are not being fed. You're not thinking clearly. You're coming off the head with the way that you think and the way that you feel. You don't have time to practice. You don't have time to be tactful, maybe even respectful. So you may be in a position where you have to, like, listen, man, you know, anything that I say or do today, please, 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 just give me till tomorrow. I'm trying to make it till tomorrow, because today ain't been going well, and yesterday was worse than today. And I'm hoping that I don't crash out on you. So if I should say some things or do some things that are uncharacteristic, maybe a little rude, mean, unspirited, mean-spirited to y'all, please, please just give me this one little pass. I need a hall pass, y'all. I need a hall pass. I can't be held totally responsible for the way that I say things, the way that I act, even the look on my face today. because I've been waiting to crash out. I feel like I'm close. I'm close. I'm close. Here I am at the end of a diving board and I can't swim. I'm at the end of this diving board and I can't swim. And I don't know if somebody's going to save me, but I hope and pray that they do. But I know that there's something inside of me right now that can't help jumping in. I don't know. Lord help me. Care Bear, what's going on? She says it lends to nervous breakdowns. Nervous breakdowns. That's a term that we use a lot. It's a term that we use a lot. And many of us don't know what we're talking about when we say it. A nervous breakdown is not like, when you picture just from the words that are used what a nervous breakdown is, you may get an interesting photo of what we're talking about when we say a nervous breakdown. What we're really talking about by definition of a nervous breakdown is loss of mental and emotional capacity to be able to make sound decisions over a period of time. It's like when you have to be committed, an involuntary committal at that. It's in Pennsylvania, we call it being 302. That's like when they call the people on you. Like, yo, come pick that boy up. That girl done crashed out. They snapped. They crashed out. They ain't gonna make it in the day. And we're not talking about a physical crash. We're talking about a mental and emotional crash. You have gone as far as you could go in a normal way. You pretty much hit a wall violently on some mental and emotional type shit. Some people have a nervous breakdown and they never come back from it. Other people come back from it, through therapy and sometimes medication and things like that. Some people they never do it. Some people, hey, they've been slipping in. You may have a history of mental illness and it just might be your time. I don't know about y'all, but I knew people who had long-standing family histories of mental illness. And unfortunately, just because somebody was my friend didn't exclude them from slipping. Time keep on slipping into the future. Hey, man, it be like that sometimes. But shout out to everybody and anybody out there who has had a nervous breakdown. And shout out to any and everybody out there that really thought that they were going to have one but never had it. But you still feel like you're that close. You're that close. You're that close. You're that close. You're farther away from that than you think you are. But I understand what it's like to feel like you're that close. Because we're talking about waiting your whole life to crash out. And when you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, when you don't see how close your destination is, when you can't find any joy in the things that you're doing, hearing, seeing, and experiencing, yeah, that's a crash out. That's a crash out. Guilt can cause a crash out. Fear can cause a crash out. Anger can cause a crash out. Definitely post-traumatic events in your life can cause a crash out. Once again, shout out to anybody who was crashed out or been close to a crash out. It was all in my mind. Hey, that's all. How where else does it need to be? So waiting your whole life to crash out, you may be directing your sadness, anger, resentment, disdain on someone. Unfortunately, some people have had to crash out on their parents, man. Some people have had to crash out on their parents because they may have felt, they may have felt so much resentment for the way that they were raised, for the things that they feel like they may have been cheated out of. You know, so many fathers, especially black fathers, have gone through this. They have been the subject of the ire that their children have pretty much had for them because they may not have been there through their younger years. And you know how it is, man. Shout out to anybody who has had to grow up without the guidance of their father, without the intervention of their father, without the help, the assistance, the guidance of their dad. People, it's so prevalent in the black community to grow up without a father that we have fooled ourselves into thinking that we are okay without one. And that is so sad. But some people have been waiting their whole lives to crash out on their dad. He's alive. He's out here somewhere, but he never took care of me. He never came to see me. He never kept a promise with me. He never was there when I needed him. Well, I went through elementary school. I went through Pee Wee League. Needing support when I was becoming an athlete or a performing artist or something like that. He was never there. He always said he would come. He never came. Everybody else, parents, they dads came. They dads came there, dropped them off, even came and picked me up with them. I had to share dads. I had to share dads with people. My sisters or my brothers had a different dad. I had to share their dad till their dad wasn't there no more. But at least when their dad was there, I got a chance to share their dad. My cousins had a dad. I had to share their dad. Borrow their dad, I should say. I had to borrow their dad. I had to borrow my brothers and sisters' dads. I had to borrow my cousins' dads. Meanwhile, my dad was out there somewhere. He was over there in that part of town. He was in this next city, this next town, this state, whatever. But he had access to me. He could have came and saw me. But he didn't. Been waiting to crash out on him. Been waiting to cuss him out. Been waiting to show him, how I feel and give him a piece of my mind. Been waiting all my life to crash out on my dad. I know that there are a lot of people who feel that way, and it's a sad thing. I'm sorry that they've had to go through that. But it's even sadder as you go into adulthood and you haven't been able to let that go, and you've still been waiting your whole life to crash out on your pop. Some do. Sometimes it doesn't go down that way. Sometimes you find out a whole lot of information about your father that you would have never found out had y'all not had a conversation with each other. You may have found out that there's more to the story than may have been shared with you. And then again, you may have found out that he was just a deadbeat. He was just unattentive. He was just irresponsible like you thought he was. Hopefully that wasn't it, but if it goes down like that, then that's something we got to deal with. It's something we got to deal with. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, this is the Daily Go Getimism Show, and we are talking about been waiting your whole life to crash out. Been waiting your whole life to crash out. Hump Day Wednesday. That's where we at. Been waiting your whole life to crash out. Crash out and dash out. Nervous breakdowns. Involuntary committals. Voluntary committals. That's a 201. Is it 201? 302 is involuntary. Yeah, it's 201. 201, when you know, like, look, man, I need to talk to somebody. Speaking of talking to somebody, man, at your jobs, if you have health insurance, more than likely you have access to some mental therapy. Like you can get counseling. You don't have to suffer by yourself. You don't have to suffer alone. You don't have to make your situation worse and worse and worse by feeling so isolated and lonely and like you're the only one that's going through this. You don't have to do it. You do not have to live that way. There are plenty and many people going through exactly what you're going through, and they have gone through it, been through it, made it through. And they're out there in support groups and assistance programs where you can find people of like minds, kinfolk, your mental and emotional kinfolk. They're out there. And one good thing about people who this happens to, if they have gotten the type of help that they really needed, then they are so eager to help somebody else get through it because they know how bad it can be, and they don't want to see anybody out there like suffer the way that they had to suffer. It's a lonely place, man, when your head ain't right. Been waiting all your life to crash out. It's lonely. It's lonely when you sad all the time, all to yourself. When you angry all the time, all to yourself. When you're resentful all the time, all to yourself. Nobody seems to understand it. You know why? Because nobody is going through it like you're going through it, and nobody else's perspective is exactly how yours is. And although you may sound crazy to some people, sometimes it doesn't mean that you're crazy, but you got some shit going on. You got some shit going on, and you be knowing. You know you got some shit going on. Don't crash out on them, baby. Don't crash out on them. Don't crash out on yourself. Just know that you can use your health insurance. So just like you go to the emergency room, if you have a bad accident and you need to get things taken care of, you can do the same thing for your mental and emotional health. Care Bear says, I'm trying. Ooh. Hold on. But like I said, man, I mean, really, there's help out there. You paying for your health insurance. That mental health is a part of that. Because when you really think about it, when your head ain't right, you can't do nothing right. Things don't come out right. Shoot, even something that you may even enjoy, something like cooking. When your head ain't right, you don't be cooking that shit right. Fuck around and make things too salty, too sweet. It's hard to concentrate when you feel like you're slipping into darkness. Waiting to crash out. Hopefully, you don't suffer the violent crash out to whereas you've been rolling, just laying in wait to get somebody back for something that they've done for you. We use the example of the father, you know what I mean? Because that's a good example of long-term resentment, unresolved. But there may be people who have been getting on your nerves and getting under your skin in a shorter term. It could have been a few months. It could have been a few years. But nonetheless, hopefully you don't want to get to the point where you're ready to actually do somebody in. I mean, and we've all been there, especially when we were younger. Like, yo, man, if they say one more thing to me, I'm punching them right in the face. Right in the face. I ain't gonna be no whole lot of rap. I'm gonna push his whole shit in. Push his whole shit in. Waiting your whole life to crash out. Do not put yourself on the road to crash out. Because as a man thinketh, he shall. How does the saying go? As a man thinketh, he shall do. Let me see how it goes. As a man thinketh,
He be thinketh in. He be thinking thin. Thinking thin. Thinking thin. Okay. As a man thinketh, he shall. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. This was in the Bible? This was in the Bible? Why ain't nobody tell me this was in the Bible? Okay. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. Whoa. All right, all right. All right, all right. Proverbs 23, verse 7. Scripture describes this type of host as inwardly calculating. He is feigning friendliness, but he does not really wish his guest well. Either he is regretting the cost of the food the guest is consuming, or he is attempting to deceive the guest into being taken advantage of. Woo-wee. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so man thinketh in his heart, so it's a man thinketh in his heart, so and a man thinketh in his heart, so will be. I said, so it be. I said, it's a man thinking in his heart, so it will be. Yeah. Been waiting your whole life to crash out. You ain't got to crash out. You ain't got to crash out. It is the nature of every living thing to try to preserve their lives. And when we talk about preserving your life, we can't just be talking about your physical life. We don't even have that much control over how long our physical lives will remain in this world. But while we're here, we have to protect our sanity. We gotta preserve our sanity. Who wants to be sane with me? I mean, y'all might not think I'm all that sane. I'm sane sometimes. Who wants to be sane? Yo, come on out and be sane with me. You ashamed to be sane with me? Are you ashamed to be sane with me? I said, are you ashamed to be sane with me? Yo, come with me. Yo, let people see that we are okay together. We something like sisters and brothers. We always together. And I'm not going to let you go no matter what nobody has to say, no matter what shows. I'm going to be down with you just like a submarine. Struggle to keep your sneaks clean on solid ground. I found my soulmate. I hate when people try to separate us. It's not going to happen. There's no fuss. You've been down with me since the time when I was struggling. Anybody think that I'm up front on you? Yo, they bugging, and it's not going to happen. No way, no how. I'm down with you. Yeah, and we are brown just like the bears that's in the woods, and we gonna make sure we make it all good. And I stood on business. What the hell is this thing that you are talking about? We kings. And I'm gonna act like I love it. Nobody's above it. You can shove it up your ass if you try to pass me in a way that separates me from my LOVE. S's, the messes, the tests, that we be taking. No time. I know word ain't tests ain't a word, but listen. Let's do these birthday shout-outs. Let's do these birthday shout-outs. Will you be sane with me? Are you ashamed to be sane with me? Has your crazy gotten you everywhere that you wanted to be? Are you ashamed to be sane with me? Has your crazy gotten you everywhere you wanted to be? Are you ashamed to be sane with me? Oh, man, let's do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious. January 10th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. My nephew, my first love, my boy. That's right, January. Oh, wait, no, wait. I can't announce these birthdays until tomorrow. I got to announce the birthdays on the 10th. Oh. Yes, that's what I got to do. Yes. All right, so let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do. Number one out the box, Lisa Kidd. Happy birthday to you and Jimmy Graves, turning 50 years old today. And my girl, Lisa Yarrington, turning 36 years old today. And also Gracie Fialona, Gracie Pierre. Happy birthday to you. And Monique Chevalier Hall. Happy birthday to you. And also Muna Ayin Williams. Happy birthday to you. And last but not least, my girl Vashti Green, turning 39 years old today. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious January 10th. Anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. I rock out, rock on it, do the dance, the rock out, rock on it, do the damn rock out, rock on it, do the damn thing, you do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings, you do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Don't crash out. Don't crash out. I know that your life has a lot more meaning, but you can't live your life out there like you're fiending. Yo, you gotta eat the right foods that will protect your health. Gotta make sure that you gotta take care of yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do for you like you do for your own. Yo, you gotta get in the zone. I know that you got a lot of resentment from before, and you've been keeping it in store, but you gotta let it go. You gotta exhale. You gotta make sure that you gotta tell your tale. And once you get it off of your chest, you start to feel blessed, and you are blessed. Yo, you gotta know you're blessed. And if you don't think you're blessed, go to the hospital, see people that's sicker than you. That's what you do. I do it every goddamn day. That's why every day I lay down to pray. And I have to say that I'm glad to just be able to stand on my own 2 feet and use my hands to eat. And I can still compete on a high ass level. And even if I couldn't do that, I'm not blessed by the devil or cursed by one. Yo, I'm still son, and you still are you. And you know what you gotta do? You gotta get it off of your heart. Do that shit tonight. Make it a start. So January 11th, you make sure that you get a little piece of your own heaven.
And don't let nobody make you feel bad than you already do. It's all about you. And when I say all about you, you ain't gotta shut everybody else out, because that don't even be the route that you really want to be taking. You care about others and they care about you. You just never knew, because they don't be seeming like it when you're in your darkness. So you gotta do this thing to try to spark this flow and make sure that the light glows just like the light. You gotta make it right, and it's gonna be tight, and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a little difficult, but this is not a code. You got a whole lot of people on your side, and they might not be something saying nothing right now, but right when it's really time to do that. So, so your sadness, screw that. But waiting your whole life to crash out, you're gonna be all right. Everything is gonna be all right. Hold your head, baby. Everything is gonna be all right, and everything is gonna be all right. Tell your stories now. Everything is gonna be all right. Everything is gonna be all right. Live your truth on, and everything is gonna be all right. You are alive and you're still living proof. All right, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, we will be back tomorrow night. I don't care how late it is. We're gonna be back tomorrow night and we're gonna rock. And one love, one love, one love. You only get you only get to have just one love. You only get to have just one love. I'm keeping this show going like I really want to. I'm tired. Get on out of here. Peace, y'all. But I meant everything I said on this show. Every last piece. So peace.